Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. On behalf of Greater Fort Wayne Incorporated's Women's Network, I want to welcome you to Quick Connect. My name is Amy Hanna, and I am the chairperson for the Women's Network. The mission of the Women's Network is to connect, to inspire, and to empower women. Today, we get to connect with one of our Women's Network active council members, and her name is Gwen Ruppert. Gwen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So Gwen, I have our very first question here, which is a pretty simple one. I know that you'll do great on this one. Title of your business, your position, and what impact you get to make in our community?
Oh, great question. Title of the business is Edward Jones. We are a financial services firm, and I am a financial advisor here on the southwest side of Fort Wayne. So we do a lot of the investment services for individuals and businesses as well. But what we enjoy and get to make an impact in the community is, as a firm, Edward Jones is the largest corporate sponsor of the Alzheimer's Association, which is near and dear to me, as my grandfather passed away from that 2 years ago. As well as we participated last year, and we're on pace to do it again this year, is participate in the Toys for Tots program. So we have a nice big box set up in our office, and we have clients and folks that stop by and drop things off. So those are some of the small ways that we get to help participate and be involved in the community, as well as with the local schools and things too.
Okay. Well, that's really special. Thank you for sharing that and sharing that piece about Edward Jones that we probably don't know about with the Alzheimer's Association. That's pretty neat that they do that. So how long have you been part of the Women's Network, and what is your favorite part about being part of the Women's Network?
Another good question. I've been in the Women's Network, I'm going to say 2 years now, and on the active council probably the last year and a half or so. The biggest thing that I enjoy most about the Women's Network Council is the opportunity to empower and to encourage and to lift other women up in the community. That's near and dear to me anyway, always has been. But this is a nice way to kind of get my hands dirty and reach the hands out and lift people up, particularly the women business leaders, organizational leaders, non-for-profits. But that's my biggest joy of working with this, as well as developing the long-term friendships that I have so far.
Yes, for sure. Well, we love having you as part of the Women's Network, and of course, part of the active council too.
Thank you.
Yes. So Gwen, you've been a woman working in the corporate world here for a while. What are some of your hardest challenges that you have come up against being a woman working in the corporate world?
Oh, yes. That's a tough question. Being in the corporate world as opposed to the public and the government role that I was before, finance is very heavily, I want to say, dominated by men. So women coming into this industry, it's not quite a glass ceiling because you do have the opportunity to go as far as you want. There's no cap, but what we find is a harder thing for women is to make those connections, that you're just as valuable as your male counterparts and you know just as much as your male counterparts. But I feel as women that we're able to offer more. And more by ways, I mean, of relationship, understanding the deep emotional connection with people as far as why they're investing, who they're investing for, and their long-term goals. That's part of the reason why women are my focus with the investments and that long-term planning. But there are a great number of male counterparts here in the Fort Wayne area that work with Edward Jones that I will say Edward Jones is very, very good at lifting up and empowering their women advisors. So not necessarily a big thing for Jones per se, but I think industry-wide, it is very different for women.
Yeah. And how have you pushed past that? What kind of things have you done to work through that?
Oh, that's a good idea. working through that, again, is just reaching out to women that have been there. The nice thing, again, with Edward Jones is not only do we have offices here in Fort Wayne, but we have a huge corporate network. So I am involved in the women's network through Edward Jones, for lack of a better term, but it is a great way for other women advisors through Edward Jones that we can support each other with ideas, what's working, what's not working, what are you using to support yourself, particularly during this time. As women, we're moms and we're spouses and we're housekeepers, we're cooks, you know, we're still in the business. So it's been a great way to support other women and get ideas. How are you refreshing yourself? How are you overcoming all these obstacles that, you know, I'm fortunate, I'm still able to come into the office to work during this time, but a lot of women are at home. So they're homeschooling, still trying to call clients during all of this, still making trades, balancing things. So it's challenging, but I have found that that is a great way for me to encourage myself, to find ways to improve myself, as well as make those other connections.
Yeah. And do you have any other encouragement for our viewers, Gwen, whether it's our males that are going to be watching this or our females that are going to be watching this, but any other encouragement that you might have for our viewers today?
Oh, absolutely. Encouragement, I think, starts within. Comparison, I think, has always been a bad thing as far as I'm not doing as well as this person or that person, both in a personal aspect as well as a business aspect. But I think being authentic and being you is the best advice that I can give. And the more you are genuine and you are giving yourself and putting your heart out there to help and do whatever you need to do, my biggest thing is to help others. And if you can be an encouragement, an encourager, or even a step for someone else, to me, that's the biggest thing that I can pass on, is to be there, be willing to fail. It doesn't always work, but be willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable for other people too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Gwen. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to each of you for watching this episode of Quick Connect. We want to thank you for joining us, and always we want to leave you with our Women's Network motto, which is to stay empowered, stay inspired, and of course, stay connected.